For those who are just tuning in, this is the special edition of DKE TV, the Authors Roundtable, and we are just sitting here touching on a very serious subject, domestic and sexual abuse. Once again, we are joined by Julia Butler as well as Twyla Prado, and we are also joined by Shakita Winfrey and Stephanie L. Jones. Now, I want to go ahead and move on to another topic, and the topic that I want to go into is women in the industry, women in the media, their portrayal in the media. But before we officially go into that, I want you all to remember that this is a forum, this is a round table where each individual that's sitting on stage right now can ask each other questions. So don't be shy, don't be scared. You know, you can ask each other questions about the topic that's being put out there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the second topic for the evening, which is women in the media, women in the industry. What is your take on of how women are seen in the media nowadays? You got reality shows, you got music videos, especially rap videos, you know, even in certain movies. What is your take on how women are being portrayed in the media nowadays?
Well, I think it's horrible. I mean, I think that a lot of it has to do with what we were talking about earlier. I mean, it's just, it ties all in. And, you know, just being raised without fathers and just the broken households and homes. And then we think so twisted nowadays, like wrong is right and right is wrong. And people are turning away from God more and more to the world. And you got people just buck wild out there, just putting it bluntly.
Mm-hmm. I have to say too, for myself, I didn't grow up in a broken home. My dad was there, and I have to say that had a huge impact on the way that I turned out, because even going through school and you're struggling, you don't have money, then you have to buy it where you can go strip. I mean, and it's brought to you where you could do it, and you know you need the money. My whole thing was, I kept thinking about, and I have 4 brothers. I just kept thinking about, what if my daddy and my brother see me, you know, and I'm naked, and I look at people on videos like, do they have fathers? Do they have brothers? And you just no clothes on. So for me, it was having a father in the household, as you said, going back to what we were talking about before. It makes a huge difference, because it made me make different decisions in my life, just having a father there.
But I would like to say, just on that, if someone is out there watching and you're a single mom, don't use it as an excuse to, you know, allow your children to grow up and become buck wild. You can break the cycle. If there's not a man in the house and your situation is what it is, you have to deal with it, and you have to raise your children according to the Bible. And I would just encourage you to get into a Bible-believing church, get some support, and just pray and spend time with your children. And if you find that you have a dysfunctional lifestyle or life past, you're just going to have to try to break that cycle, and not use it as an excuse to raise dysfunctional children, because even if there's not a man, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And
Okay, now what about you, Shakita? I know you. What about you? I know you see it in, you know, all the time in television. You hear it in the songs, you know, about rappers calling women the B word and the H word. I mean, it's all around you 24/7. What is your take? What's your take on it?
Well, you know what? I see it and then I don't see it. Really, it's what you allow as a woman. You know, if you allow your man to treat you any kind of way, it will happen. I mean, that's what I believe, and I'm going to stick to it. My life, I was a stripper. I did what I had to do by any means necessary to take care of my kids. My son right now, he's 15. I had him before I even graduated high school. And he was by the guy that I said I kept running into the street. He told me I was pretty, this, that, and the other. And he also came from a dysfunctional household. Both of his parents was crackheads. I never forget one winter, I saw his mom cooking hot dogs in the middle of the street, and it was 20-degree weather outside. She cooking hot dogs. You want to buy a hot dog? And I mean, you know, but you know what? It fascinated me because I wasn't raised that way. But it was like the streets drew me to seeing things that I never saw in my life. I never really been to the hood until I was dealing with my kid's father. But at the end of the day, I do believe, even, you know, when I was dancing, what I allowed was what I allowed. You know, we won't take it not trying to get away from the Christianity, the gospel. We're going to take it right into the strip club. Whereas I saw some of my friends, they were selling themselves. I didn't do that. I didn't have to because I felt like I had a word of mouth and I can get what I wanted without doing that. So it's really what you allow to happen to you in terms of how people treat you. You want to get treated like a lady, then they're going to treat you like a lady. It's how you present yourself. You know, if your husband beat you and you accepted it and you continue to go through it, it's because you allowed it. Like what she said, Twyla said, all she had to do was her ex or whatever hit her once and it was done. She left. It's what you allow. And you can take that in any form of life, in any career path, is what you allow. And it will happen if you allow it. And that's what I believe.
Okay. Now, what about you, Stephanie Jones? I know you have children, correct?
No
You have
children. Not
okay,
yet.
but even if you had children, like how cautious would you be allowing them to watch certain things on TV? Because that's pretty much what you see all the time. You know, it's sex most of the time. Like, would you be real cautious about what they see on TV based on your
Absolutely.
experience, on your life experience?
Absolutely. I talk about that all the time, about the things that parents allow their children to watch, the things that they allow their children to listen to, and then the things that they do and say around their children. I was just having this conversation with my mother this week about, you know, the things that parents, the names that parents call their children, the things that they say to them. You know, we are planting seeds, and it's going to grow into something, whether it's good or it's bad. And so when you're allowing your children to see and hear and do anything, and then you're feeding into that, what do you expect? And in my situation, my father was in the home for the most part of me growing up until I became a teenager. However, just because you have a father in the home doesn't mean you have daddy in the home. There's a big difference between the two. My father was there, he was a financial provider, and he loved me, but he did not get involved in my life as a young woman, and that had a big effect on the choices that I made. But like Shakita was saying here, we put ourselves in situations. Sometimes as women, we put ourselves out there. When I was going out in the clubs, butt naked, putting all of my stuff out there for some man to see, for some man to look at me, that was my choice. But that came from me feeling like that's what it took for me to get a man. And you know what that was all about? Because I didn't love Stephanie. I didn't see myself as valuable. Why should I expect anything from you if I don't expect anything from myself? How can I ask you to love me when I don't love me? And that is a problem. We don't love ourselves as women. So how can we ask men to love us?
Now, since we're on the subject of women in the media and music videos, there's this one author who used to be a video vixen. And I'm just going to put her name out there, Green Stephens. She came out with the book a couple of years ago, Confessions of a Video Vixen. And she was just putting names out there, you know, putting people out there on Front Street, but at the same time, she was telling people this is the life that I chose, this is what happened to me, and this also happened to me when I was young, when I was just a baby. From your perspective as an author, and I want to get each and everyone's opinion on this, did you think she did it the right way as far as putting that book out there and putting people's names out there and, you know, stuff like that? But did you read the book?
I haven't read the book, but I'm familiar with the book, so I can't give my opinion on it because
Okay.
I don't know exactly, you know, how she put it out there.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So did anybody read the book or
I
read a little bit of it?
I did not read the book, but this is my feeling. I mean, when you're doing things, and if you don't want anybody to talk about it, then you don't need to do it. I mean, once you put yourself out there and other people know, and you're in a circle of people who know about it, I mean, it's just bound to happen. So, I mean, I didn't read it, so.